What is up, everyone? Look at everybody popping on. Britt looks all pretty.
I
love
tried.
it. I
I
love
tried,
it.
girl.
Alrighty, so welcome to the first episode of Permission to Persevere. I am first going to give a shout out to that lovely beat that a very close friend of mine, an MS warrior, much like myself, created. Mr. Shea composed. I have to introduce Britt to him because he's pretty gosh darn awesome and makes some beautiful beats. She'll appreciate it. But yeah, so we are starting this lovely podcast because we've been talking about it over the last 3 months. We've only known each other 3 months, and it's like we've known each other forever. And I will tell you right now, I think all the things that are going to come between the two of us are freaking truly tremendous. But one of the things is that we both have very much in common is being able to persevere through all the the trials and tribulations that we've been put in our path before us ever since we were little. And I'm going to give Brett a second to say a few words before we get started and get rolling.
Hey, y'all. Brittles here. You can call me Brittles. I like it that way. Super stoked to be doing this with Shana. Like she said, we actually met here on Instagram. I just moved from Michigan down here to South Carolina. Yankee girl coming down to, low country, totally different world. I found this babe on Instagram. It was literally like immediate connection. I shot her a voice memo. I swear a lot, so disclaimer before we even get going tonight. Put headphones in, get the kids to bed.
There's gotta be a bunch of F-bombs probably.
It happens. Whatever's clever, but let's start chatting because life is most definitely full of ups and downs, and everybody has their own perspective on what hardship is. And I think Shauna's gonna drop some bombs and golden nuggets for you tonight.
And thank you for everybody that's popping on right now or even listening to this on replay. Okay, so we want to kind of share a little bit of our backstory before we start really kicking off these episodes. And by starting that means getting to know us and where it first started from. Now, I personally have been fighting since the friggin' uterus. I've been fighting since before I was even born because my mom was a 15-and-a-half-year-old pregnant with me, and everybody, including her family, tried to tell her to abort me. And I'm so glad that woman did not. Thank you, Mom. I know you're gonna be watching this later. Because otherwise I wouldn't be here. But it was not an easy journey even after I was born for her or I. And a lot of it was growing up as a child in domestic violence, alcoholism, drugs, everything possible, to watch your mother's head get punched in a lot, and then you sit there and you're like, I don't know what to do as a little kid. It's really scary to grow up with. And then to have your own dog, and this is actually, I'm gonna try not to cry. This is actually my first time I've ever literally publicly said this part. There's actually gonna be a few bombs that are coming out live tonight that I have never shared live before. So when you get to hear from your bedroom because your dear old lovely father is so upset with you because you asked him to stop drinking, mind you, you're 11, 12 years old, you asked him to stop drinking and he decided to take his shotgun and go shoot your dog out in the yard. That's the type of things I'm telling you I've grown up with as a kid. And even though growing up like that, my kids, I hear it all the time from them. You guys aren't bad parents. Oh my gosh, like you're so different than many parents. Oh, we think you're cool. Like I appreciate those things because one thing I learned as going through my childhood was I was going to be so much better of a parent than what I was dealt for cards at the time. And you know what? My mom had her own issues at the same time because of what she grew up with. Again, she was a kid growing up really with another kid and then growing up with the monster, so really at the end of the day, like she was growing up with what she saw. And unfortunately, I became the target for a while. And love you all, guys. My mom and I, we have a great relationship. I love her to pieces. We have both grown very far together. But ever since that, I decided, your visual, what you see, what is your life, you put yourself into. And I grew up into a teenager, into an adulthood, putting myself around drug addicts, around alcoholism, around getting myself beat up off and on 10 years, whether it was verbally or physically by, somebody I decided to have a relationship with. Mind you, he's gone. That is not my husband. My husband is amazing. And he was a part of that at some point in time too. He's my best friend on the sidelines, respecting my wish of stay back up. I don't want you to get into the middle of this. But, and then, you know, being, you know, coming into that, and then several years later, we get married and everything else. And I have to, Brett knows about this part. See, I'm short and sweet when it comes to things because I'm just peeling back some of the layers of the onion right now. As we dig deeper, you guys are going to feel even deeper with this. But my daughter's not here right now, so I get to share this with you guys. And this is the first time I've ever publicly said it. But to put your own sperm donor that you grew up idolizing, even though he was a shitbag to your mother, you grew up with, and he came back into your picture of your life and got straightened out from alcohol and everything else, and then you have to put him in jail because he was freaking grooming your own kid for 3 to 4 years. That is the hardest damn thing for a mother to ever go through. And try not to sit there and freaking beat up on herself like it's your own fault. And my daughter is what I will say, a warrior. That kid, she has her depression issues, but gosh almighty, she is such a warrior. And I'm so proud to be her mom, even though she drives me crazy. She's a freaking teenager. But you know what, the shit that we've gone through, you guys see, like, the things, like, we share what we can of our sides, but it's not always comfortable putting the real out there. Like, we want to put the real out as much as possible, but it's not easy to sit there and go, hey, by the way, 2 years ago, I put my sperm donor, my piece of shit father, in jail because he harmed my poor baby. And that is something not easy to, you know, go through. And then later on, I get diagnosed with a freaking incurable disease. And I mean, I got hit hard with it. So try going from one thing and just kind of sort of healing from that and getting your daughter on a good page, and then you get slammed with an incurable disease that seriously, like, debilitated me. I was ready to off myself. I even told my husband, I was in so much pain in the beginning. I cannot deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with this. And some way and somehow, it was like the words of prayer, whatever, heard my voice crying out for help. And it was like, my body started easing into the understanding, okay, we have MS. We have MS. It doesn't have us. We have MS. And we can make this work. And thank goodness to, honestly, the lifestyle of how Britt and I, like, we run our businesses and everything, that's what connected us in the first place. And it's, you know, saved both of our lives, really, at the end of the day. And definitely, I know mine for sure. You know, I can only speak for myself so far. But to be able to be here to show you guys that you can persevere through all the bullshit, that you can still be a good person and come out the other side. Like, we don't have perfect lives. We're busy just like everybody else. We're mamas just like every other mama. We have our own normal life to handle. But it's okay to give yourself grace and go, you know what? We'll get the rest done tomorrow.
Right.
We can continue forward. And I'm going to pass it over to Brett, because at the end, stay towards the end, because we're going to share both of our top 5 tips that we feel that has helped us get this far. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's the part I'm excited about, right? The part where you guys can have something to take away from this other than, like, holy shit, that was depressing. Because what we're going to lay on you tonight, like she said, is literally just telling you where we began, because we plan on making this a weekly thing. We're going to be coming on here live. We're going to be doing the podcast hopefully next year. So hang around, stay tight. It's going to get more uplifting, and definitely you're going to feel a totally different vibe other nights. But you've got to hear the real and the raw to get to that side, because not everything's all kittens and puppies, right? So starting back, like she said, way long ago, my parents separated before I was even old enough to remember. I lived the life of cheerleader honor roll student during the week, and then on the weekends, I was in a family band with my father. This shit is hard to talk about live, Shana. Why'd we do this?
You got this.
My father actually is no longer a part. I'm gonna get it together. I should have went first. Listening to you got me all fucked up. Anyways, my dad is no longer a part of my life. Simply because I could not watch him do what he did to all my other family members, to my kid sister. So, needless to say, I was in a family band with my father and my brother. We made my dad lots of money, I'm sure. Every weekend, traveling all over Michigan, playing music, seeing things that no 11-year-old should see. And God bless my mom and my stepfather for being like incredible parents, because if it wasn't for that half of my life that was so good and okay, Lord only knows how I would have turned out. Needless to say, when you're, 9 years old and you're sleeping in bed, you shouldn't be waking up to sounds of breaking windows or cocked guns or people screaming bloody murder or cop sirens. Like, when you are 9 years old, you should be laying in bed feeling safe and secure and not being woken up to shit like that, right? So without going into like super deep detail, I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down there. I dealt with that from 9 till probably about 16, 17, when I was really old enough to make the decision that I didn't want to live that life and I didn't want to be there anymore. I would say 18 years old, graduated high school, got diagnosed with hypothyroid disease right off the get. So here I am, 18, in the worst shape of my life, smoking a pack a day, drinking way more than I probably should, especially being underage. Fast food junkie, Ben and Jerry's every night, super addicted to fucking sugar and everything under the sun when it came to food, just really treating my body poorly. And when I got diagnosed with a hypothyroid disease and I was told that I was going to be taking a medication most likely for the rest of my life on a daily basis with monthly blood draws, that was just a huge shocker. I'm just now an adult and I'm already crossing into this my body's failing me thing, right? So a decade goes by, half a decade, and I start taking care of myself. I get healthy, I change my eating habits, and I finally lose, the 35 pounds that I've been carrying around since high school, and I meet the love of my life. And here we are, like, deciding it's time, we want to have a family, and we try to conceive. A year goes by, never happens. Another year goes by, never happens. So we decided at that point, let's get, a doctor involved. Let's see what's going on. Well, turns out I have PCOS. So here I am again. My body's failing me, even when I'm doing all the right things. So any PCOS warriors, I'd love to see a gift below. Let's show love, because I know it's not easy struggling with that. Needless to say, that ruined our relationship. Struggling to conceive and just feeling inadequate. We ended up separating. I met a man that was in the military. I wound up pregnant within a few months, and he left. Luckily, Lance, being the incredible human that he is, came back into my life, decided that this was our blessing. This was our miracle baby. And so we went through the pregnancy, and during that time, holy shit, you guys, talk about like the universe just like slamming it down. And I can never fucking pronounce this, just like I can't pronounce perseverance. You're gonna learn that about me. I can't speak. I can't fucking speak. HG, hypermesis gravidarum, HG. I don't fucking know. If you know how to pronounce it, drop HG down below. Basically what that is literally puking your fucking brains out every single day, 9 months, nonstop, in and out of the hospital, IV fluids. Absolutely horrible. Horrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So went through 9 months of that shit. End up having Tegan. I finally am feeling better, right? I'm not puking anymore. And within 5 weeks of having that baby, I get hit with the worst postpartum depression that I think has ever been known to man. And I'm talking suicidal thoughts, like the whole fucking nine. It was absolutely horrendous. I wound up on medication for a while, helped me through it. But during that time, I got in a fucking car accident. So here I am with a 5-month baby. I'm on these meds. I'm super just like not feeling myself, right? Because postpartum mamas, our bodies are just not what they were before. And like I just said, I had just lost 35 pounds. So I was feeling myself prior to baby. This car accident took me out. I'm on fucking crutches now with a newborn. And I'm just like super depressed. It was literally, 2019 was the hardest year of my life. 2020 comes. COVID-19, baby. Here we go. Universe is still just like knocking them down, right? I decide I have to get the hell out of Michigan and move to South Carolina. This is how I met Shana. Here I am. I'm searching online. I save up all my money. I find a home. We show up, a 13-hour car drive with a crying baby. It was absolutely a terrible ride. We show up to a fucking construction site. All right. Homeless. All my money. I no longer have nowhere to fucking live. Lance is technically out of a job for a week. Like, and I've got a baby. I've got a 1.5-year-old. Thank God my stepmom lives here in South Carolina, and we were able to crash on her couches and wood floor. But that day, driving away from what was supposed to be our new home, that was my rock bottom. And that feels like it happened yesterday because it was only 30 days ago. So like that's fresh and I'm feeling that. And I think that's where I'm going to pull most of my 5 tips from. If we want to go right into the nuggets on how we've overcome all this shit, let's do it. So being homeless, I learned that we've got to not stress over the shit we can't control. I couldn't control what had happened, right? There's no fucking way that I would have, I mean, I video chatted with this guy. He did a walkthrough. My stepmom even drove to the place. When I say construction site, I say he showed me a unit that was all nice and redone. And then he tried moving me into a unit that was not nice and redone by any means of the fashion. Okay, it was horrible. I did everything I could to not let that happen, and it happened any fucking way. So did I sit there and fester in it? No. You want to know what we did? We packed our family up and we went and had a beach day. Fuck that. We moved to South Carolina for a reason. Don't fester in the shit you can't control. Focus on the things you can control, and that's my second tip. Life is too short to be spending lingering on the shit that we can't fix. What could we fix? What could we control that day? Well, mom was about this close to a nervous fucking breakdown. So by going to the beach, we probably saved me having literally a mental breakdown in the middle of all of that chaos. Number 3, choose your path. Choose to live your life every day like it's your last. Don't fucking care about what people think about you. Focus on surrounding yourself with the people who are there to lift you up, not the people that are there to tear you down, or the people that are there to always constantly show you the negative side of shit. Like, are you sure that's gonna work? But wait, maybe. I mean, okay, yeah, we've got our parents there for that, but come on, we need to find friends who motivate us to push and do more, be better. Go for it. And then number 4, be who you want to be, not who others want to be for you. And this is a quote I heard once, and I will say it 100 times. I absolutely love this. People tell me don't bite off more than you can chew. I say I'd rather choke on greatness than nibble on mediocrity. So like I said before, fuck what you heard. Who cares about these people? Be you, do you, focus on you. When you're going through the shits, when I was homeless, someone cyberbullied me telling me that I wasn't homeless because I had a family's floor to sleep on, you know, and bashed me for saying, how dare you say you're homeless, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. I was homeless. I intended on being in a home with my family, and that didn't happen. All right. I didn't have an address. I didn't have a mailing address. I was homeless. Who cares what people think? You do you. And then number 5, when all else fails. And granted, my dad may have been a shitty fucking person, but one thing that he has taught me and instilled in me is belief. Belief in myself. No matter what, dude, like when everything fails, God has my back. The universe has my back. I have faith that I overcome 100% of the obstacles that have ever been given to me. And you can do the same thing. Shana, shoot out your tips, boo.
Amen to that. Alrighty, so my first one, I'm going to be straight out the gate because now that I've composed myself again, had a moment, my heart is like pumping like crazy. Lindsay. My chest is all red. See that? It's all good. Those of who are going to be hearing this on our podcast eventually, I know you can't see it, but my chest is cherry red right now. But anyway, number 1, do not fucking give up. It goes right up on Britt's last one, really. Do not give up on yourself before you have the chance to even succeed. Shit's gonna happen. Everybody has stuff that happens to them. It is what it is, but you grow through what you go through. And that is one of the damn quotes I love to freaking preach. And I didn't understand it at first. And then I realized, I'm like, Are you fucking kidding me? I literally have been growing through and making freaking new sprouts out of the shit that I was given for soil, and I'm freaking growing this beautiful freaking future for my family, for myself, for the people that I get to be a part of day in and day out. So hell yeah. Number 2, focus on what you do have versus what you don't have. That's where a lot of people actually screw the fuck up, is when you focus on what, oh, well, so-and-so has that life, and why don't I have that life? Poor you. Not poor you. Be happy with what you do have. You know what I mean? Like, Britt could have easily gave up, but guess what? She remembered. She has an amazing fiance. She has an amazing child. She has an amazing self to live for. And just like my family and everything, when I found that shit out about my daughter and I finally put that piece of shit into jail and everything, or when I got MS, I easily could have just said, screw it. You know what? Fuck this. Give up. Look,
right.
You know, I freaking gave up on myself. Gave up on everything. But what would that have solved? I would have just put my pain on somebody else. That's not going to solve anything. And words have power. Be kind to yourself. What you say, this is going to think. This is your biggest muscle right here. And this is it's going to lead me into number 4. But what you say to yourself out loud in your head or whatever, your body, your mind remembers that. It harbors it. It holds
100%.
it. So use kind words to yourself. Number 4, go straight into it. I'm not going to lie. I've been meditating for 2 freaking straight years, and I'm so glad I have, because I'm like the peachy, crazy chick freaking rolling through the grocery store on her cart, riding it like a little kid, going wee and dancing around, because I've worked really hard to have the positive mindset that I do. I don't like arguing. I don't like being the old angry person that I used to be, and trust me, she is easy. If I really wanted to let her out, I could. I was the angry person getting into fights all the time. I was the person who was like, oh yeah, come on, say something, bring it, let's do this. Like, that's how I was even in court years ago. But I held back because I was growing myself into the person that I am now. And to end this like this, surround yourself with where you want to be. That is one of the things I lead with every time. I have it written everywhere throughout my house. Surround yourself with where you want to be. You want to be a good person? Put good people around you. You want to be happy? Put happy things around you. If you're talking shit to yourself, or you're hanging around negative people, or you're putting yourself in situations that are negative, or keeping yourself in, because sometimes we can't control the situation that we're in, but we can control how we react to the situations. That's what you do. Surround yourself with where you want to be. You want to be positive, you want to be happy, you want to be able to go further in life, then put yourself there. Because only you, just like Britt said, you choose your path, and you are the only one that can control which way you want to go. And I'm going to leave it with that. All right.
I think that's a great way to close things up, sister.
Hell yeah. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for listening to our very first episode. This was truly amazing. I'm so glad. I am so impressed. So many people popped on. Let us know if you are catching this on replay.
I'm sorry. Are you reading the comments?
I'm reading.
Said, or the compound, so they can all move down here. All my Michigan girls trying to move down.
Yes! Let's have everybody. My northern girls don't want to be up north either. As long as I can have it AC. Can we have climate control for some of my friends because they don't like it super hot? We'll just have a climate controlled, like, we'll have like an aquarium, like a terrarium for certain people that don't like it too hot. We'll keep them in there until fall.
Oh, hey, friends, I can ask a favor, yeah? Everyone that's watching this, share this to your stories. Get our story out there. Let more people hear this. Someone tonight could literally be sitting on the end of their bed, contemplating freaking ending their life because things are just not in the right place. And this could be what they needed to hear at that right time. So please share this. Suicide awareness, mental health awareness. Let's help the world. MS warriors, MS awareness, shout out.
Any autoimmune disease, anybody who needs to hear power, positivity, and persevering over everything, you have, I'm giving you guys, all right, we're going to literally use our
time. We're going to give them permission
to persevere. We are giving you all permission to persevere. Share the ever-living shit out of this.
Please.
All right, we love y'all. Toodles.
Good night.